Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new Stranded Alien Dawn live stream. My name is Jens. I'm part of the community team here at Frontier and it is my pleasure to be your host for today's proceedings as we dig into some more of Stranded Alien Dawn and your community creations, because today, my good friends, we are going to jump into a Stranded Alien Dawn community spotlight. And what that means is that we're going to look at some of the things that you've been making for the game and making from the game and all of that good stuff, which are things that I really enjoy doing. So, sorry, it's a bit cold in here. I need to get my hands warmed up and everything. But yeah, we're gonna be taking a look at that. And before we do, let's take a look at who we got over in the chat. We've got Crispy Tater Tot, of course, one of our amazing community creators. We've got Heather G hanging out in chat. X Scream saying nice music. I know, right? It's really cool. Just chill out and vibe kind of deal, you know, like spacey bluegrass kind of thing. We've got Planet Becky saying happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday to you, Planet Becky. Hope you're having a good Wednesday today. My Wednesday, it's been a bit of an up and down. I know there's a reason why they call Wednesday hump day, and I feel like today has definitely been kind of a just get over the hump day kind of day. Amani Wolf 1701 must learn how to mod so I can make my bloodthirsty Ulfin. Wahahaha. I think that's a cracking good idea. You should just get on that right away. Just go for it. That's what I'm saying. Nerolia Gaming saying bring Jens the campfire to get warm. Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so. But I think maybe the office fire alarm and maybe the equipment we have in here might disagree with a campfire, but maybe at some point. As you can see, I'm in a different room today. I'm on my own today, so I figured it'd be easier to just jump into our second streaming room and do all the stuff that I'm supposed to do from there. Basically. So, yeah, I hope you're all having a good time out there wherever you are in the world. Sillyway is here. Hello, Sillyway. And let's see if there's anyone else I should shout out. But yeah, no, if you're joining us for the very first time and you don't know what Stranded Alien Dawn is, Stranded Alien Dawn is a planet survival sim in which you manage a group of survivors who have recently crash landed on an alien planet in order to help them survive and bring them back to civilization. And you do that by helping them, build shelters, make food for themselves, all of that good stuff. And it is out now in early access, so if you haven't checked it out just yet, you can do that over on Steam. There should be a link in the, at least on YouTube, down in the doobly-doo. And if you just Google Stranded Alien Dawn, you'll be able to find it. You can also check out our website, strandedaliendawn.com. So that is what's happening today. Cat Eyes 0507, welcome. Heather G, of course, coming in with those links, the mistress of links, as always, being very, very, very helpful to me, for me, the host of this here stream. Thank you so much, Heather. But yeah, so today we're going to be taking a look at some of your community creations, and we're also going to be taking a look at some of the mods that people have been making, because we were very happy to be able to we were very happy to be able to bring mod support to Stranded Alien Dawn, as well as Steam Workshop support to Stranded Alien Dawn, which means that if you want to, you can use the mod tools in order to create your own scenario mods, your own survivor mods, your own item mods, all that sort of stuff to be usable within the game. And it's been about a couple of weeks. It's been 2.5 weeks-ish, maybe 3 weeks. What is time? That it's been out, and there's been plenty of new mods coming into the Steam Workshop. So we're going to be taking a look at the some of the user-made mods that have been uploaded to the Steam Workshop, as well, and sort of how they work in game and how they can sort of integrate into your save games or into a new save. So that is what we're going to be checking out today. I'm very, very excited because some of them are really fun. A lot of them obviously are character mods, because it is fairly easy, from what I can tell, to make new characters. So there's a lot of really fun sci-fi characters, some of which you may see today on stream. But there's also some interesting item mods and storage mods and scenario mods and all sorts of other things that I know people have been requesting and looking forward to. Will there be a mod changing attacking insects to waffles and stuff? I mean, that's up to the modders, really. I don't suppose there's an official mod coming to do that, but maybe some of the mod makers will end up doing that. Who knows? And if you don't want to be attacked by the insects, just turn attacks off, and you should be good. All right. Let's see then. So that's I just need to push. Hopefully, I'm pushing the right button now, and we should get to the first one. There we go. So first, we're going to take a look at. There's going to be a diverse range of screenshots. Some of them are going to be big buildings and base designs. Some of them are going to be more. What's the word I'm looking for? Some of them are going to be more evocative. Some of them are just going to be very nice looking. So that is. It's going to be a bit of a mixed grab bag of things for this first one. But the idea is obviously to do additional community spotlights later on in the year, because, or not just later on in the year, but as we continue developing and releasing updates. And there's going to be more of these to come at several points. But yeah, let's get right into it. So these have mostly been plucked from places like Discord and Steam, and I believe this first one comes to us from, I'm actually going to I need to get a folder up on this computer so I can actually see where it's from here. This first one comes from Helios, which I believe is located over on Steam, and as you can see, this is a big base design build, which I just thought was incredibly impressive when I first saw it, mainly because you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 survivors added to the group, which must have taken quite a while. You can see they have the 3 expedition balloons in the background, so they've probably done a lot of expeditions to see if they could find other survivors. And just the the sheer size of this thing is absolutely incredible, in my opinion. They've got a lot of incredible looking farmland. They've got a whole thing of solar panels off to the left there. They've got a bunch of tamed creatures. They've got more. They've got several things that have already gone into traps and may or may not be ready for the butchering. They've tried to do some taming of a shrieker, which they have also succeeded in. So it's a very incredible, it seems both something that's been made on the fly, but also something that's very well thought out in terms of what goes where, for what, like which buildings go where, which survivors go where the animals sleep, all of that stuff. Planet Becky says, I think if I have that set up for the survivors, I wouldn't want to leave. Yeah, absolutely. Like, this looks like a place where they have realized, well, we're going to be here for a while. Let's just get comfortable. And as you can see, it is year 7. Oh, I get cut off from the camera, obviously. It's year 7, day 12. So something tells me that they are definitely in it for the long haul. They're not necessarily going to just skip town the first chance they get. But it's really cool. I love it a lot. I looked at this and I thought, yeah, this really needs to be featured on the community. Really needs to be featured on the community spotlight. So that is the first one. That is from, let's see again, that's from Helios over on Steam. All right. It is huge, absolutely. Sillyway says, we obviously need a maple syrup Gatling gun. To make one, you obviously need maple trees. I mean, that is definitely living up to your username there. But we'll see what the mod makers do, right? We'll see what the mod makers do. All right, this next one, another really, really cool looking base in my opinion, coming to us from Haru Nara N, also from Steam. This is more of a sort of a military base kind of thing, and interestingly enough, this screenshot here also uses one of the mods that we'll be checking out later in this stream right here. It is using the grain silo mod, which is the big construction sticking up in the middle there. A lot of concrete, a lot of stone, a lot of brickwork, a lot of masonry, but definitely a place that looks like it's been built to last for a while. It's definitely a place that looks like it's been built to it's a place where people can stay for a while and live out their lives if they need to. It is year 15, day 32, so they have definitely been there for a while. Looks like a penitentiary, says Amani Wolf. No escape from there. It could definitely be no escape. I mean, if this is where they want to stay during their time on the desertum environment, that is definitely where they can be. I mean, there's funny messages in chat. That's why I'm smiling. That's why I'm laughing. Heat-seeking maple butter. I do like that idea. I do wonder how you would help the maple butter differentiate between the heat sources of animals and the heat sources of food, because you don't want maple butter just splashing all over the place, But yeah, I'm thoroughly impressed of what they've been able to set up here. And as you can see, a lot of food crops as well on the on the side there. So there's definitely a lot of food that they can eat and live off of. Imagine being a spaceship crew, you land on this inhabited planet and find this fortress. If I were to land somewhere and find this fortress, first I would assume that there were people living there, and secondly I would maybe be a bit afraid to approach them, if I'm being quite honest. This next one is from none other than Willem Krejcik from Steam as well. Just a picture that I thought was very, nicely put together, very evocative, very just, it's still early stages, but they managed to get that exploration balloon up. But they've also managed to get a bunch of their farmland up and running. There's plenty of crops here that they can use for food. And Samantha is heading off on an expedition. I thought, you know what? Yeah, this was a very, very well put together screenshot. And I'm very interested to learn what seed this is on, because this looks like a really good place to crash land as well in this scenario. Great perspective. Yeah, absolutely. I love that they've shifted the camera a little bit and make it a bit more, you know, a little bit closer to the ground rather than the sort of God's eye, bird's eye view that I tend to use as well. So I thought this was just an excellent little screenshot and something that I really wanted to showcase here on this here stream. All right, let's go with the next one. This should be, if I'm not mistaken, from Thorhall Vikinga, or Thoral Vikinga, if we say it in Norwegian. This is more of a, we're back on the Sobrius biome. We have a lovely night shot there with the moon in the background and another sort of locked down compound-like structure. But I like the way that they've used the big windows, or maybe those are doorways for window space there, and obviously the way they parked the balloon there in sort of a courtyard-esque thing. And it's just, yeah, like Flendomo points out in the chat, this is just very aesthetically pleasing, and I'm just very, I would like to know how long this took to build, not just in-game, but also just in planning the whole thing out. I can see from the up above there that they are in year 7, so it's definitely a place where they have decided they're going to be living for a while. But yeah, it looks really, really cool. It looks really, really good. And you know, maybe when you're watching this, you can grab a bit of inspiration and maybe find yourself building something similar in the future. This next one here, coming in from Scorpion 1989K. Unfortunately, BWL show, I cannot feed you the planet, but it did look pretty good, I gotta say. Winter shot here from year 3, day 38. And just, again, I gotta give it out for the aesthetics of this. That's not an alien planet, that's just Canada. You know, it's not that far off. It's not that far off from Norway either, to be honest. But yeah, just the aesthetics of the thing, amazing. The whole base just seems very, very well thought out. I love the fact that they have this this line of trees going along the line of fences there as well. You can definitely tell that this is a place that people have built for a while. It's sort of like a cabin settlement almost. Yes, Flendomo just screams hit the dude. Exactly. It screams like an Easter cabin trip or winter cabin trip kind of thing. So very, very big northern vibes in this. And I do believe, I think I see some animal pens there as well. So they may or may not have some animals that they have been breeding and maybe livestocking for a little bit. So yeah, I just took a look at it and thought, yeah, this needs to be shared with the world. So that is Thorhall Vikinga, or Thorhall Vikinga. No, that was Scorpion 1989K was this from. Next up, we got this one from Lim Boo, which again, I just looked at it and I thought, yeah, I like this very nice little sort of lounge area. I like that they've used the different types of windows and the way they put all this entire thing together. It's almost like a sort of music performance room, if that makes sense. Amani says it feels like an office. I can kind of see that, maybe with the folding chairs and the table in the back there. But I did like how it just sort of all comes together as a space where people can hang out, they can play some music. And what I really enjoyed about this one, yes, Escape Reality points it out, the atrium in the center here. They have this little carved out space where there's plants growing. And I thought to myself, that's a very clever use of the building mechanics, very clever use of the farming, like the crops mechanics as well. And just putting this whole thing together, I thought was just an excellent job. I feel like I'm just piling on the superlatives quite a lot here, but it is definitely really, really well done. All right, before I continue, just need a little drink of water. So yeah, that is definitely something that I think would be cool to add to a future build of my own. And as you can see, they've surrounded most of it with windows as well, so you can see through it. You can see how your plants are doing. This is just water. Don't worry, it's just water. It's just so I can hydrate, so I don't get parched. Don't worry about it. Next up, we've got this one from Nidrix, I believe, which is sort of a starting hut kind of thing, but it's very clear that they've put some time and effort into building this thing, and it gives me the whole cabin in the woods, cabin on the mountain kind of thing. And I just like the vibes of this thing. It's definitely a place you could, this is the kind of place I feel like you see people go to, and there's no running water, there's no electricity. If you need water, you need to go to a well that's like 10 minutes away. There's no electricity, there's an outhouse. But once you come in there, you put some logs on the fireplace, you make sure that the entire building is nice and warm. It's just, it's very, very nice and very cozy, very comfortable. And poor Ken is having a bit of a risk of a meltdown, but hopefully he'll be able to get over it once he has some leisure activities. But yeah, it is. I just thought, I really like the vibes. It just reminds me of being in a cabin up in the mountains or somewhere out in the woods, seeing the stars above, and just being away from it all for a little bit. Silliway says, my next goal, make something nice in Stranded. I think that's a very, very admirable goal, because not only are you building these places where your survivors can live, obviously, but there's something to be said about building the proper aesthetics for it as well. There's something to be said about building a building that looks nice to you as a player, building a settlement, if you will, even though they're supposed to eventually leave, building a sort of settlement-ish place where it looks like it's been sort of both thought out but also kind of improvised at the same time, because that's kind of how people work, which I think is quite an interesting sort of balance to hit when you're building in games like this. So this one, I believe, was from Nidrix. Now this one from Bug Hunter from over in the Discord. Shout out to the Stranded Alien on Discord. Please join it if you feel like it. Oh, Heather G! Wow, that was fast with the links. So yeah, you can join the Discord. There should be links in the chat right now. This is from Bug Hunter. They've essentially built a wedding pavilion, which I think is just absolutely incredible. Which I didn't really foresee. I didn't really foresee it happening, but obviously, when your survivors can get married, when your survivors can end up in relationships with each other, it's only natural that maybe they'd want to get married, and you can build a whole wedding pavilion for your survivors. And I saw this and thought, you know what, that's a good idea. So we should share that with the world. That is Bug Hunter from the Discord. Next up, I believe this one is from Isan. Ysanne, also from the Discord. And I gotta say, the stuff we had earlier were definitely sort of compound-ish. This is a compound. Like, this is big, and I just like the way it looks. I like the way that they've used the elevation to its advantage to sort of build upwards at a slant. I like the way that they use the different, to create a sense of different levels, the different staircases, and this is absolutely huge. And I can't believe that this is only in the second year. I mean, yes, it's in winter, so they're approaching the end of the second year, but to put all this together, to get all of the resources for this, to get all of everything done for this particular build here, just absolutely incredible stuff. But as you can see from the side there, they have 10 idle survivors, so they probably had a lot of people to be able to build this whole thing. So it's quite a feat, I would say, even though. Hold on, looking at the chat again. Everyone's done some great things. Absolutely, I am always blown away by the creativity and ingenuity of people who play these kinds of games, who are able to build the things that they build, whereas I feel like I often stumble my way through them whenever I need to build something, just make something cool looking. But yeah, no, that is definitely a whole compound. Poor survivors need not apply. They've even got a really good, you can see it in the left side here, they've even got a really good sort of funnel made for any attacking insects that might come their way, with both traps and flamethrowers. So yeah, anything coming their way up this mountain road here, they're going to have a hard time coming in. Oh, Silly sorry to hear that. So Silly having some connection issues, but yeah, we'll anything you can shout us out in chat, that's fine. But yeah, shout out to Silly and shout out to Sweden. This one here, let me just check my notes again, is coming our way from Rogue Commander over on Twitter. And this is their sort of new start in another run of Stranded Alien Dawn. Obviously, it's been a few days. It's been about 24 days, but already they're up and running with wooden defenses, with a nice big house, with the exploration balloon. They've got farmland. They've even got a good looking meat plant farm there as well. So yeah, like everything is just like everything is really well made. Everything is really well thought out. And I gotta say, just looking at this looks like a very good place to start the game as well, because you have the spaceship debris that you can salvage for metal scraps. You have a lot of stone nearby. There's a lot of trees nearby, a lot of greens and plants and things like that you can observe and exploit and plant. But yeah, plenty of resources around, plenty of animals, and just plenty of just everything that you need in order to build up your level of survival right here. But yeah, they've got some really good scavenge results as well. I think that's a helmet. That should be a pair of boots, and I think it's a CPU core as well. And they've discovered the glitter cap, which gives us the fantastic mushroom torch, which makes all the survivors very, very happy. So that is Commander Rogue from Twitter. All right, this next one is going to be a sort of showcase of screenshots from one particular creator who I actually do see in chat. So shout out to none other than Nerolia Gaming, who takes the most beautiful screenshots, some of the most beautiful screenshots I think I've seen in this game. Just absolutely impeccable eye, and you really know your stuff. So this is going to be a couple of screenshots coming your way from Nerolia, who DM'd me these late last night, and it was just enough time for me to put them into this stream right here. So yeah, this is the obviously winter screenshot from the Sobrius environment, and I gotta say, I love the lighting. I love the use of the cloud and the fogs and everything. I love the different colors of all the plants coming together and forming this very lovely winter wonderland landscape, which obviously may or may not have some hostile alien life on it, but you know, it is what it is. But yeah, I would love to go on a ski trip in this particular area. Next up, we've got another winter screenshot here with a lovely little snowman hanging out near some glitter caps. And I gotta say, I personally love the snowman. I love it when it snows. The survivors decide to head out and make some smiling, amazing, cute-looking snowmen in order to make their environment a little bit happier. So yeah, I think this is a really, really nice one. Some part of credits go to the art department, apparently. Well, I mean, sure. I mean, yeah, the creators of the game made something that looks really great, but obviously you are the person framing it. You're the person putting everything together. So, you know, credit where credit is due, in my opinion. Next up, we have I just like this one, mainly just because one of these things is not like the other. We've got the resting Gujo here and a tiny little creature on the side. K Enigma just managed to the stream. What did I miss? Did they already go through the mods? We did not. You did not miss the mods. We have been checking out some screenshots for the time being. So we're going to head into the mods very, very soon. So yeah, stick around and hope you find what you need, I guess. But yeah, no, and yeah. Speaking of which, all the mods that we're going to be showcasing later are going to be findable. You can find them on the Steam workshop for Stranded Alien Dawn. Just type in Stranded Alien Dawn Steam Workshop in Google and you should be able to find it, or you can go to our store page and you'll be able to find it in the community hub. But yeah, I just like the screenshot because it's a funny one. The little guy, sure, he's a leader. He dares to dream big. Exactly. It's a funny little one, and it's a good example of capturing a moment in the game that you may have missed if you didn't know when or where to look. Yeah, the imposter shot. Next up, we're back in winter. We've got more snowmen. Oh, one of the poor snowmen is missing his head. But we've got 6 snowmen here. One, unfortunately, missing both arms and head. But maybe a survivor will come along soon and help him finish up that head of his. Again, I just really like the snowmen. I think it's a really nice little touch. And I love the fact that they put this all together. And then, yeah, Neurolia came along and said, you know what, that's a cool screenshot. Let me grab that one. They look like they want hugs with their arms out. They do, yeah. I'm not sure I'd recommend hugging a snowman because I think that'd be pretty cold and a little bit wet. But other than that, yeah, definitely they do look like they need a hug. And they look so happy. I mean, look at them. They're smiling and just having a good time. Like, yeah, I miss making snowmen. And I do believe this is the final one from Neurolia, but we will see that very much later. But I just think this is just a very creative way of building, because the way I'm reading this is that they have managed to make different levels in a way and connect them together with staircases, and then also put wall on some of it and roof on some of it, which then creates this sort of fake window effect that you can see here as well, which I think is a very, very clever way of using the game's building mechanics. Because I call it creative. That's what I do. So I think it's a neat little trick. And that should be all of it. So I do believe then that it is time for us to. It does look cool. It does look really, really cool, I gotta say. Time for us then to head on over to checking out some of these mods. But before we do that, I'm going to push this button. That was the right button. Wonderful. Before we do that, I'm going to have another drink of water. So please excuse me. And I'm going to give a bit of a shout out to some people. So for some of our other game streams that we do here at Frontier, we have this little thing in the upper left-hand corner. Right hand for you, left hand for me, that pops up whenever people follow us over on Twitch or YouTube. We don't have that for Stranded right now, but that's something I'm going to ask for. And I just wanted to give a shout out to people who have followed us on Twitch in the last 24 hours. So I just have that list up here now. So a shout out to Brockonator2, to Shadow at Noon, who I actually follow on Twitch on my personal account. Very funny. HollyBearXO, to IvanTrox18, to Afterrealm, Marty Bar Team, Mr. Hermph, to Huffle Kate UK, Outlaw 30k, and Will of Rivia. Thank you so much for following us over on the Twitches. You can also follow us on Twitch if you go to twitch.tv/Frontier. Silly Way says, I know what I will do when I get home. Make a snowman or play Stranded Alien Dawn. Maybe both. Why not both? I say both. Hey, Will of Rivia, it's also in chat. 07. Yes, so now with the shout-outs out of the way, we're going to get to the next stuff. So, as I talked about before, there's been a lot of really fun and interesting mods added to the game since we added mod tools and Steam Workshop support about 2-3 weeks ago. And I wanted to take a look at some of them on this particular stream, just to show them off and give a shout out to the mod makers, and just show the people watching at home, show everyone watching at home what you can add to the game by using mods, if you so feel like it. Obviously, the game is perfectly playable and just, I think, is great even without mods, but if you want to add a little bit extra, mods might be a thing to look into. So I'm gonna first click around a few things here and first show off excuse me while I just double check a few things. Yes. All right, cool. So we will first start off with, where's my button? There's my button. Yeah, wonderful. Love it when technology works. Twitch is where all the cool people hang out, right? Says Psychic. Yes, absolutely. Although, there are also cool people hanging out on YouTube. Let's not give YouTube a hard time. We got a lot of amazing people also following us over on the YouTube chat. So yeah, whether you want to follow us on Twitch or on YouTube, we appreciate you either way for following, for supporting the game, for supporting us at Frontier, for supporting Hemimont, all of that good stuff. Amani Wolf says, mods can really add to the game, new foods, new items, new companions. Absolutely. All right. So the first thing that I wanted to talk a bit about is this Crash Landing X10. Let's see if I can find what it's actually called. 10x, 20x, 50x survivor scenarios from Epsilonarge, who is one of our mod makers hanging out over in Discord. And funnily enough, just as I click through on this mod here, they say that due to a better mod having come out, please use it instead. This was good while it lasted. So this may or may not be getting updates anymore, but I still wanted to shout it out because I think it was a very fun little idea that they had. Basically, it is a new scenario in which crash landing occurs with 10 survivors, with 20 survivors, or with 50 survivors. And I just wanted to see what that looks like. Yeah, when you select your characters, that's 50. That's everyone I had, and there's still people left over. And so when you start the game, it will. Are you sure you want to start the game with only 43 survivors? Yes, I do. I just wanted to showcase what that looks like because it is. Yeah. Are there even that many characters? Not right now, no. But this is what it looks like. And I think it's we got 3 people risk a meltdown. That's fine. And already, because of all of these people, we have some research that's already been unlocked. That is one cramped escape pod. Absolutely. So obviously what the main difficulty is going to be in this case is just feeding everyone. But obviously you can really build something up very, very quickly with this many. But yeah, currently there aren't 50 survivors in the game. You will probably need mods in order to get more. Personally, I think maybe a more manageable size might be more my speed. But hey, if you want to give it a shot, now you can. Now you definitely can. What else I wanted to jump into was another cool thing that I wanted to talk about is this one called A Research Expedition Gone Wrong. Hold on, let me just see if I can find this. Where is it? There it is. This is from Water Dragon 77 over on Steam. You can find this over in the Steam Workshop. And this is a episode of Star Trek The Next Generation. Now, if you've played the game, hopefully you're a bit of a sci-fi fan. I know I am. And, we've sprinkled in a few science fiction references. Well, the developers, have sprinkled in a few science fiction references here and there. And this Research Expedition Gone Wrong scenario is, like I said, essentially an episode of Star Trek The Next Generation. So what this does is this will add in a 6 survivor scenario. Obviously, some of these folk here are not added in. Some of these folk here are from the base game, as it were. But you can have up to 6 survivors in this particular scenario, and you can choose between such famous Star Trek characters as Beverly Crusher, Data, Geordi LaForge, Jean-Luc Picard, Guinan, as well as, hold on, let me scroll, as well as Reginald Barclay, very good cut, and William Riker, all at their, I believe, the age they were generally at when Star Trek Next Generation was aired. Is Wesley there? No, there is no Wesley. unfortunately. Hopefully, maybe there's a Wesley Crusher coming. I feel like a Wesley Crusher would just be good at everything. But I do like the fact that they have. Hold on, let me just double check the username. Water Dragon 77 has definitely put in a lot of thought into what these characters might have in terms of skills and traits if they were ever in this game. So yeah, Beverly Crusher, obviously very good at healing. That is the thing that she is interested in. And she can't fail a medical treatment, which I think for the character fits really well. She's also the person who tries to calm everyone down if they have a meltdown. She has an increased chance to succeed, and she's a vegetarian, which I don't remember from the show, but I think it also adds a nice little balancing wrinkle. What I've seen for some of these character mods is that they can sometimes be a little bit unbalanced, but you know, I feel like Water Dragon 77 here managed to strike a balance just generally with all of these characters. Wesley brings no skills. That's not true. I feel like Wesley was very skilled. So yeah, that is Wesley. That is Beverly Crusher with a high healing skill. Let's do Riker. With a high healing skill, generally good at farming, fairly high intellect, maybe not that good on the physical and all those other things, but you know, she can do in a fight. But maybe not bring her into combat since she's indifferent to it. We've got obviously Lieutenant Commander Data, which also generally pretty good at, in this particular instance, combat construction, high intellect, high physical, which makes sense. He's an android. He is interested in the pursuit of knowledge. He is a very strong android as well because he's, built for that stuff. And he has a fast learner trait. He has a light eater trait. He's a quick sleeper, which also makes sense because he's an android. He's an artificial life form, as well as increased tolerances to both heat and cold. And so I feel like I could just plunk this version of Data down in the game without anyone else, and he should be able to manage quite well. We've got Geordi, of course, which I think Geordi generally was one of my favorite characters from when the show was on, mainly because of the visor. Scanning says Data should be interested in everything as he was. That's actually not a bad point, which will eventually segue me quite neatly into another mod that we're going to be talking about. One thing though, no criticism here, but one thing I should maybe mention is that ideally Data shouldn't have to eat, but because of the way the game is set up, I don't think that's possible, but ideally he shouldn't have to eat, which is why the light eater thing is there, because yeah, he's an android. Fun fact, the visor design is based on a hairband. Didn't know that. That makes a lot of sense. So yeah, Geordi LaForge being, of course, the engineer. He's interested in crafting. He has a fairly high intellect skill, and he's generally okay when it comes to construction. Maybe not the best at combat or farming or healing, but that's fine. He makes up for it with his engineer trait, which gives him 3 times work speed when constructing devices or furniture. So he should obviously be your crafter. He's also a good crafting teacher, which is excellent, and an experienced scavenger, and finds a lot more scrap metal during scavenge operations and expeditions. So he should definitely be your scavenger, your crafter, and maybe potentially your secondary researcher. Guinan, of course, being the sort of mysterious bartender of the NCC 1701D, will make others happy by cheering them up, and is an exquisite cook, which is a very good trait to have. Okay at combat, very good at cooking, interested in cooking as well, decent intellect, good character to have around. And then there's Jean-Luc himself, with fairly okay combat skill, but combat was never really Jean-Luc's thing, but farming is where he will very much excel, because that is his interest. And if you've followed the story of Star Trek, he was always kind of a farmer man at heart. He eventually settled down on a vineyard, if I remember correctly. He has the explorer trait, loves going on expeditions, avid farmer, and inspirational writer, relaxes by writing short stories that inspire others when read. Let's take a look at Reginald Barclay as well, or Broccoli, as some people would call him. It's even in the thing. Wonderful. Too bad Strata can't have character age in Guinan's range. She is thousands of years old. That is very true. So, you know, they've futzed it a little bit, but, you know, she presents as a, you know, 46-year-old woman, so that's the age she's been given in this here mod. Barclay, interested in crafting and intellectual pursuit, so he should generally be your researcher, in my opinion. But he has a neurotic personality, so, but yeah, and so with his neurotic personality, manipulation efficiency is increased by 50%, but he's a bit of a slowpoke, so maybe, you know, keep him indoors where he can craft, where he can do research, and maybe some cooking, and maybe some light construction as well, if you need to. Finally, we have number 1, William Riker, interested in combat, not too interested in farming, but good at cooking, you know, decent all-arounder with, you know, good physical skill and pretty good combat skill as well, which makes sense for his background and his sort of family history. But also I love the fact that they gave him the trait cheerful personality, as well as musical prodigy, which, if you remember Star Trek The Next Generation, he does play really good music. And he's also an exquisite cook and makes even the simplest dishes taste exquisite. And speaking of Star Trek characters, if you don't want to do a whole custom scenario and just want to add some Star Trek characters, there's also a mod that's simply called, let me see where I can, it's simply called Star Trek: Survivors, made by Odysseus. And this particular mod in its initial release features Jean-Luc Picard, William Riker, and Data, but I do believe that they have added in Worf as well, and with the plan is to eventually add in more TNG characters, as well as Deep Space Nine, Voyager, and maybe also people from the Picard series, which I think is really cool. So let's see if I can find some of these. That would be these ones. I'm not sure what's happening with the portraits, but it is what it is in this particular case. So there's Data should be here as well. It could be that this data overwrites the other data. So I'm actually just gonna go back here and turn a thing off in the mod manager. Beard looks similar to yours, Jens. Thank you. I mean, I'm getting a bit of a white patch here as well. So it's it's definitely been yeah. Maybe I can grow a bit of a Riker beard. Yeah, thank you very much. Are they even human? They've got impressive stats. That is, you know, some of them have gotten fairly impressive stats, mainly because they are fictional characters. Yes, there's Data. Mainly because they're fictional characters, so, you know, some of them might be a bit overpowered, but sometimes that's the fun of it, in my opinion. So, as Scanix pointed out earlier in the stream here, the Data should be interested in everything, because he was in the show. And in this mod, he is. He has full interest in all things because he wants to be more like a person. He wants to be more like a human being. That's his whole thing. And so obviously he would be interested in everything, but he would he would have general like skill level at certain things. So we've got high combat, high crafting, and very high intellect and physical because he is an android. He's a living computer and a machine. But he's also, yeah, got interest in a lot of things. So this Data, you could definitely just plonk down in a sort of single survivor run, if you will, and just have him beat everything, just win at the entire game. He's got the explorer trait, he's got the engineer trait, he's an experienced scavenger, hardworking, fast learner, extra healthy, natural curiosity, quick sleeper, but he is tone deaf, which I think is a neat little touch to add, that he makes others unhappy when he is playing music. I'm not sure what's up with the portraits, unfortunately, so you can't really fully see the characters, but there's some, you can see the, oh. Sorry, I forgot to push the button. Now you can see. He is interested in everything. But yeah, single survivor run with Data. Could be interesting. Could be very, very easy to do. Sorry for switching back earlier. But yeah, no, Data, interested in everything. This, I think, is a really cool little thing. Also, there's a lot of known technologies, which also makes sense for Data. But yeah. By the by, here's a little fun fact. The actor who plays Data, whose name escapes me right now, but someone in chat will point it out, Brent Spiner. Gotcha. Brent Spiner does an amazing Patrick Stewart parody. Just see if you can look it up on Google, because he does an incredible parody of Patrick Stewart, who plays Jean-Luc Picard. Very, very worth checking out. Hey, ZX Becky. Welcome, welcome. How you doing? Hope you're having a good time. Next up, we got another version of Jean-Luc Picard. This one, I believe, is based on the Picard that shows up in Star Trek Picard. High intellect, high physical, very okay at farming, crafting, still has the avid farmer trait, calming, he knows long distance travel, he knows winemaking, which makes sense because he lives on a vineyard, and he's got the ancient language technology as well. He also loves going on expeditions, and expeditions will take less time. Wow, excuse me. Next up, we've got William Riker in his more aged appearance. I feel like all of these have, almost all of them have high intellect and high physical, which kind of makes sense. Again, got the cheerful personality, got the exquisite cook, and he's plus 100 health and recovers health twice as fast. And I feel like they should have added in the music trait for this one as well, but I think it's a good little character mod. Finally, we've got Worf, son of Mog, House Martok, with the familiar bloodlust trait. He's a combat instructor, he's got the sniper eye, and he knows weaponsmithing, all of which I think is very in flavor for Worf, seeing as he is a Klingon. But good at combat, very high physical, okay at the rest, I'd say. But he could definitely hunt for his own meat and then cook up a bit of a meat soup or meat stew if he wanted to. All right. I wonder how those two things stack with each other. Interested in skill and fast learner trait. Can you create a cheat character who learns everything 4 times faster? That is an interesting prospect. I haven't tested this out, but potentially I assume the two things stack on top of each other. But without testing, I cannot say for sure, but I would assume so. So that would make... you know what? If you put Data in as a sole survivor in a scenario, he would max out all skills like that, in my opinion. He would just get there incredibly fast. So yeah, those are the Star Trek Survivors by Odysseus over on Steam. And the idea is, they say at least, to add in some more Star Trek characters as they go. All right, we've got some final mods to show you, but before we do that, we gotta load up a save. This should be the one, I think. Hold on, just gotta make sure that I got the right one. How y'all doing on this Wednesday? Have any of you been playing around with mods yet and checking that stuff out? Do you have any favorite mods yet? Personally, I'm a huge fan of the Meat Plant. I really like Chris Jacko Jackson as a character mod. It's been really fun to see. I'm not going to showcase it on this particular stream, but there's someone who's been uploaded a bunch of, they call it like a Gmod group. So it's basically a ton of characters who are all synthetic creatures, or basically androids, with different specialties. So one, for example, is a supercomputer in a person's body. So they have incredibly high intellect, but everything else is set to 0. But they're also a fast learner, so they should then eventually level everything up eventually. And so I would check out some of those as well, because they are very, very cool. And you can obviously, head to the Steam Community Workshop and you'll find a lot of them. There's a couple of others that I'm going to showcase here as well. But it's been fun to see what people make and the kind of things that people do. So far we've checked out the Star Trek Survivors from Odysseus. We have checked out 10x, 20x, and 50x survivor scenarios from Epsilonage, who according to them is now a bit deprecated. So they recommend checking out something called Bonus Starting Survivors, which I also recommend checking out. And Research Expedition Gone Wrong, which adds also Star Trek characters, but on a different scale and level and all that stuff. So today we're also going to check out a cool little cabinet We're going to check out a grain silo, and we're going to check out some recipes. But before we do that, let's take a look at the chat a little bit. Psychit says, I just downloaded a ton thanks to the stream. Hey, happy to help. DDDit saying, I've just played with the first 4 and I found Chris and Nova to be the dynamic duo. That is actually very good because they both have very high combat and so could be very, very good as a pairing. How do you find mods, says James Stone? You can find them on the Steam workshop for Stranded Alien Dawn, and I can just drop a link to that in the chat. So there should be a link there both on Twitch and on YouTube now. So you can just go there and you can find the mods. And what you have to do is once you find a mod you like, you click the subscribe button. And once that is done, you have to then go into the game and click the mod manager button in the main menu. And then you can activate the mod. Then when you start a new game or you continue a save game, your mod should be there. But yeah. Artificial mods are the artificial people are the Gmod people. Yeah, absolutely. Excuse me, had a bit of an itch. So, welcome to my mod area here. Is there some? No, there's like a. Never mind. It looked like there was like a flickering or something. So yeah, welcome to my my mod farm. So we got our meat plant mod, which I always recommend people having. We got our Chris Jackson here, who, unfortunately, not too happy. Is there anything I can do to make you happy, Chris? No favorites. Well, that's a shame. Checks mods as he hums data and Picard song. We have... So what I'm going to attempt to do is try to build the scrap metal grain silo eventually. But let's just double check my notes here. Yes, so we can just have that going. First off, one thing I want to talk about is the new quantum cabinet, which is located under storage and then wardrobe. And then you have your wooden, your metal, and your quantum cabinets in various sizes, which unfortunately at this point I don't have the capacity or technology to make it just yet. But this will provide storage space for resources, and this has quantum infusion. Thanks to some wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey technology. This can store a lot of space. You might even say it is bigger on the inside. So definitely something to check out if you feel like you need more storage space in your areas here in your game. Is there anyone who can? Lara is recovering. You need to eat. That's fine. And so that is the quantum cabinet, which I think is worth taking a look at for sure. Exactly, Amani Wolf. Who knows? The it's a Mary Poppins bag. Exactly. Osric hit it right on the head. The other thing that I want to talk about is hold on, let me find it. It is called the recipe collection. Oh, by the way, the quantum cabinet made by Hezron over on Steam. Thank you very much, Hezron. The second mod I want to talk about is the recipe collection by Seiden Fuchs. I believe that seems German, which is a collection of different recipes and some raw ingredients, as well as a new tameable animal. Now, I haven't found the tameable animal just yet, unfortunately, so I cannot showcase that. But what I can talk about is some new plants that are added in with this particular mod. So let me just showcase those. Should be on the side here. Yes, we've got the milk cactus, a cactus that produces milk slime that can be harvested. You can make milk on a work table from it or eat the slime directly, but the latter is not recommended. You've also got a strawberry bush. This deciduous bush grows well in temperate or colder climates. It produces strawberries, which love the birds, which birds love, I'm assuming. I'm guessing this person is German, has run this through Google Translate, because that's why there's some stuff there. And it produces strawberries, which birds love, so you can find nests with eggs inside. What's that lake on the left? It is... Oh, it's this. It's just a little pond. if you're interested, by the way, in checking out this seed, it is the fail type seed. So if you want to check that out, then it is available there. Actually, Katina, could you salvage some of this stuff? Thank you. All right, so we've got our milk cactus. I gotta say, no judgment. There's just something inherently funny about the term milk cactus, which is what and Aurelia points out, it's milk and strawberry. Absolutely. Yeah, there's something inherently funny about the term milk cactus, in my opinion. Which one, will give us milk slime as well as distasteful flowers when they grow all the way up. And that can then be turned into milk, which is a different resource. And distasteful flowers can also be used in some of the cooking. There's also the small broadleaf bush with red berries field. These are obviously the strawberries, which can then be harvested for strawberries as well as for raw eggs, which I think is a very good, very neat little addition to the game. I love that. I love when they add in when there's additional plants and things added in. I think that's a very neat little addition. Milk cactus is a genius idea, actually. I think it really is, because just the addition of this extra resource opens up quite a lot when they have this all these extra recipes. So, extra recipes. Let's talk about them. So obviously, when you have your cook stove, when you have your campfire, CPU cores, nice. Is that all you found? CPU cores, not any scrap? Okay, cool. So in your cook stove, in your campfire, you have your quick recipes. You have grain porridge, your veggie soup, your meat soup, and your cooked emergency rations. But with this particular mod, you can also add in, there's some new quick recipes. There's eggs, there's muesli, there's fruit curd, there's grilled sausage, and scrambled eggs with meat. So now you have all this extra stuff that you can then cook for your survivors. So if you have chew roots, you can make grilled sausage. If you have raw eggs, you can cook eggs. If you have fruits, milk slime, sweet syrup, and flowers, you can put all of it together and create a fruit curd. You can make fruits and milk together to make muesli, and grain, obviously, and you can make some scrambled eggs with meat if you have the raw eggs. Henri Bloodworth, really glad the custom plants were fixed. It opens up a lot of possibilities. Yes, absolutely. There's also sweet jerky, basically sweet syrup and meat. I think we're getting to that next. Under tasty recipes, there's the, hold on a second. There's things like, here we go, strawberry pancakes. There's the grain pudding. There's the egg omelette. There's meat, cheese, bread, as well as topped bread. So that's basically bread with pickled vegetables. So I guess Branston pickle on toast, or potatoes. There are potatoes. There are chew roots, which are sort of like potatoes. I like this menu. Can I order it, please? Absolutely. So I like these as well. So now that winter is setting in, which you can see is happening in this particular scenario here, we should definitely try to use some of these pickled vegetables and maybe make some maybe make some topped bread. Which strawberry pancakes, would love to see it. But then you need raw eggs, grain flour, milk, sweet syrup, and strawberries. And I like there's so much thought put into this, because obviously in the real world, strawberries pancakes require a lot of ingredients, and they've done all the ingredients: egg, grain, egg, flour, milk, and a sweetener. No waffles. Unfortunately, that requires a waffle press item, which is currently not in the game, but maybe that's something they'll add in at a later date. But you got the meat cheese bread. You can collect cheese, which is something you make from the milk slime that comes from the milk cactus. There's also, under chef's recipes, there's a fondue, there's a raclette, there's stuffed bread and stuffed buttermelon, which also requires a fair bit. There's flour, there's glitter caps, there's cheese, there's beef berries, buttermelon, all of this different stuff. But I love the fact that they've added all these extra stuff and all these extra things that you have to do, which I think is a very neat little addition. But that's not all, because you may have noticed there was things like cheese and things like that. So and grain flour, which is also part of this mod. So in our workbench, we have grain flour, which is made. First, we need a stone mortar in order to make the grain flour. So we consume a stone mortar when we make the grain flour. There's the milk, obviously, which is made from milk, slime, and cloth. Makes sense, again, because then you squeeze the milk out of the milk slime via the cloth. I'm just absolutely amazed of the thought that is put into all of this. Can we quit, please? I'm hungry. I've just eaten. No, there's no stopping. But there's, the thought that's put into all this is very, very cool. And it makes me wonder if the mod maker here is either a chef or a game designer in their own right, because it feels, it is game design. Like, it is very, very thought out, all of this. So yeah, there's the stone mortar, there's the grain flour, and there's the milk in the recipe collection. If I had a press, which I do, you can also use the milk to make cheese. Yeah, cheese. And it adds in a new animal as well, which is the friendly flying lizard, which turns into the egg lizard. So there's a lot of different recipes and things that you can add in to the game with this here mod. I think it's really neat. I like it so much, and it's definitely something worth checking out if you are so inclined. Sorry, I'm just checking on all my things here. Poor Krista. Do you need anything? Do you want to? You like veggie stew and snowball fighting? Do we have veggie stew? I wonder. Don't think we do. Oh, they should be in here, shouldn't they? And I know it's not connected to a power source, but are you hungry at all? Oh yeah, yes you are. Eat a veggie stew. Come on. Let's give him a lunch break. Why not? But yeah, no, I think it's really, really smart. And I love the fact that they add in all these extra... It sounds like I'm being harsh. They add in extra steps, but it's extra steps that make sense. It is extra steps that you can use if you want to in the game. And I think it's a very great idea. It's a very great idea for a game like this. And finally, of course, we've got our grain silo, which needs a lot more scrap metal than we currently have, which is why I'm trying my darndest to get some of this scrap here from this particular spaceship debris. But it's proving to be a bit tricky because, there's a lot going on in this save as well. But the grain silo, the whole thing about the grain silo is that it is your grain storage because, as you might know, grain can and will take up a lot of shelf space. Ooh, these poor buttermelons beef berries are about to run out. And I wish I could demonstrate that, but right now I don't have a lot of grain left, unfortunately. So, hold on. Yeah. Let's see. No, that's from insect meat. Don't do that. Hold on. Vegetable oil. Yes, until we have 20, which we do. Let's turn our new insect meat into animal fat, because why not? But yeah, if you have a lot of grain growing, which I should have somewhere in this field. There we go. But yeah, grain can take up a lot of space. And so it's a good idea to find a place to store it. And so this scrap metal grain silo, or the grain silo in general, can be that storage. So you can make it from scrap metal, or you can make it from concrete. And as you can see, they do need a lot of resources in order to be built. You need construction 6 as well as 150 scrap metal in order to build the scrap metal grain silo. So it can take a while, but I think it's definitely worth having if you're putting a lot of time and effort into farming all this stuff. What's the round building? Do you mean this? The scrap metal silo? That is what I was... the silo, yeah. Sorry, YouTube is a bit behind. Sometimes YouTube chat is a bit behind in terms of that stuff. So yeah, this is the scrap metal grain silo. The grain silo is made by Shyla over on Steam. Now, if you've missed any of the stuff that we talked about today, I'll put it down in the description for the YouTube video, so you can find it there. Because obviously I know that people would like to see those. Oh yeah, no, we got some grain right here. That's harvestable, I think. Yeah. Resting, not growing, the plant's fully grown. So yeah, eventually my survivors will harvest the rest of the stuff. But right now, they are gonna go to sleep. And this place desperately needs to heat up. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, not the warmest of places, but we will take care of that once we have some more heating sources. So yeah, that is the grain silo. That is the quantum cabinet that I talked about earlier, which can be found under wardrobe and quantum, and it is the recipe collection from Sidon folks, which all of them, in my opinion, very good mods to have, very a good addition to your gameplay experience. Capacity 80. Not sure what you're referring to. If you're referring to the grain silo? Hold on. Yeah. That's what they've set up. But yeah, no, I like it in general. It's just a building as well. Bit of a harsh question from Cat Eyes, but I'll answer it. Is there a reason for me not talking about Beyond Stranded? I wanted to save it for a different stream because I know that Beyond Stranded is still in development, and so I wanted to save it for a different stream, basically. But yes, I know about Beyond Stranded, and the idea is to take a look at Beyond Stranded at a later date. Not ignoring it, absolutely not. So don't worry about that. So the idea is to take a look at it in a different stream, because I know that it's also one of the top-rated mods right now, and a lot of people have been using it. A lot of people have been adding, but yeah, no, I feel like it needs its own stream for this, basically. So yeah. All right, but I do think that is going to bring us to the end of this particular stream, actually, because that was all the mods that I had to talk about. Excuse me. We were all very excited to watch. That's all. Yes, I mean, I'm sorry if I've disappointed any fans of the Beyond Stranded mod, but we'll get to it. We'll 100% get to it. I promise. And seeing as I know that it is a mod that is currently in development, there's going to be more stuff added to it. Maybe it's a thing we'll check back in with now and again in case people want to take a look at it. But yeah, that is going to do it for this particular stream. Like I said before, the mods that we talked about today are going to be added to the YouTube description. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you can find it right there in the doobly-doo. And I'll add the links and all of that stuff that people want to see for it. I'm also going to I'm also going to share links to the to some of the screenshots as well, I think. But if you haven't already, please join our Discord. You can find links to that on our website, strandedaliendawn.com. And thank you so much for watching this here live stream. We will, of course, be back in a week with more Stranded Alien Dawn. I hope you join us for that as well. Thank you so much for the mods, for the moderators, for keeping it down in the chat, to Heather G and Aldrich, of course. Thank you so much to the rest of the community team. Thank you to my producer Adam, our live stream producer Adam, for making sure that our streams look and sound their best. And thank you to the developers at Heaven Mod Games for making a fantastic game. And thank you to the mod makers for making cool mods. Make some more if you want to. I'd love to see them, and I'm sure a lot of other people would love to see them too. But that's going to do it for this week from me here in the streaming room. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday and a wonderful rest of your week. I'll see you guys next time.